Hello and welcome to another round of Championship predictions from the Honest Football Podcast. I'm Craig Savin. With me, as always, is Daniel Cody and a cat in the background. Let's have a quick recap of what we predicted. The cat got everything right. One perfect, well, for us two, one perfect score overall. That was for my Watford 2-1 victory at Cardiff. Other than that, not many goals this week. It's quite, especially on Tuesday. I know there was one game with a 3-1, but there's a lot of 0-0s, a lot of 1-0s as well. But for us, points-wise, I win matchday 19 by 8 points to 5. Right, let's get on with this matchday 20. Reading versus Preston is the Friday night game. Reading drew 0-0 at Luton, and Preston beat Swansea by goals to 0.
Yeah, and even if you're a Championship fan, for the love of God, watch Hereford on BBC for the FA Cup because it's going to be a damn sight better than this game. Preston back to their best, I guess you would say, with a 1-0 win. Back-to-back wins for them and very defensively solid. It was an even game. They had less than 30% of the ball. It's what everyone does against Swansea, but they got the win, so fair play. And Brad Potts, your favourite goal of the season so far, popping up with another. Reading Luton was a really weird game. I sort of said it to you guys after. It was almost like a 90s throwback. Two teams playing incredibly direct. Andy Carroll started in the number 10 role, playing off another big striker. And it was just, there was a part of it I quite enjoyed, but it was a very solid defensive performance. And it sort of makes sense now, having watched them live, why Reading always either win 1-0 or lose 2 or 3, because they don't have that burning counter-attack pace to get back into a game if they go behind. But until that point, they're incredibly solid. They take advantage of slowing it down at set pieces for an experienced squad to give them a rest, and they're a massive threat in the air. So really impressed with them in a way. I can see why they're doing all right. There's no other score I can go for here other than 1-0 Reading. I think the home side are going to nick it. It's going to be close.
This has a bit of a Championship favourite scoreline of 1-1, and that's what I'm going to go for. No, Reading, it wasn't the greatest game, Luton and Reading, so I haven't really got much to say. Preston, 1-0 victory, typical Preston, back to the Preston that we saw at the start of the season. Swansea will be kicking themselves in the way, but that's typical Swansea. It was good 3 points for Preston. Good week so far for them, but I'm going to go 1-1. Right, big game. Sheffield United versus Burnley at Bramall Lane. Sheffield United beat Bristol City by a goal to 0, and Burnley come from behind to win 3-2 at home to Rotherham.
Yeah, keep the run going. Obviously, it was a red card that got them back into the game, essentially, with the 2 stoppage time goals. But we talked about those moments of champions, late goals, and my banker for the first time this season just about came through. It was hanging on by a thread until the end, but let's be fair. Burnley probably overall deserved the win. They had a lot of the ball, they had a lot of the chances, but that ruthless edge for a while was missing yet again. Sheffield United, back to 2 clean sheets, back to 2 victories, and back up to within a point of second place with the game in hand. They are looking very good again. With them back in form, for me, this is game of the weekend. I think it'll be an absolutely brilliant match. I'm going to go against the odds. I'm going to go for Burnley's second defeat of the season, and I'm going to go for a thriller. 3-2 Sheffield United.
Tough one. I'm going to go for the away team to nick it by 2 goals to 1. Credit's due. Burnley obviously didn't start well, but you knew once Burnley equalised at the early parts of stoppage time, and you hear 10 minutes added on, you knew Burnley were going to win the game, and they did. And Company's get them working right to the very, very last second at the moment. Sheffield United, easy victory against Bristol City, let's be honest. But to be fair, they had to grind it out. So good 3 points there. Starting to get that rhythm back. Players are starting to come back. So it's getting better. This is a very close game, but I think Burnley might nick it by 2 goals to 1. Right, Blackburn versus Huddersfield. Blackburn lost 1-0 to Coventry, and Huddersfield lost 2-0 to Sunderland.
Yeah, Blackburn just throwing one in as they always do. But look, to be fair, it's not a disastrous result. I know Coventry had their troubles, but they are generally good at home. So no issue with that. Obviously, there was some trepidation about where the game was going to be and stuff till late minutes. So not easy for an away side, but they've still won 4 of their last 5, Blackburn. Huddersfield, they just got done by Sunderland on the counter. I mean, I saw it at the weekend against Luton, how good Sunderland are at that. And Huddersfield, second half, couldn't cope. I know you've said it a couple of times. They haven't hugely convinced me under Mark Fotheringham. I wasn't sure it was the right appointment, and I haven't changed my view yet. They're not ruthless enough. They're not solid enough. They haven't really got anything at the moment. And after back-to-back clean sheets, that'll be a bit of a hammer blow. So I'm a little bit torn on what to go for here, but I think Blackburn will bounce back. I know they do occasionally have an inconsistent run, but I have to go for them to win, and I'll go comfortable 2-0.
Yeah, I probably would have gone 2-0. I'm going to go 3-1 to Blackburn. No, Blackburn, yeah, I just knew they would lose that game. I just don't know why. I should have really gone 1-0, really, but I went 1-1. But yeah, it's just typical. I'm not going to say much on that. Huddersfield, yeah, they didn't great at all. They looked pretty poor. Pritchard obviously scored against his old club. That would have not been ideal, but not good, despite the last couple of games. But I'm going to go Blackburn to win by 3-1. Right, Blackpool versus Luton. Blackpool, they lost 1-0 to West Brom, and Luton drew 0-0 with Reading.
Yeah, I hope for both sets of fans the weather's better than last year because it's still the worst.
I don't think
weather.
it is. I don't think it is.
I don't think it's going to be much better, but that is the worst I've ever attended football in, and I'm going to keep saying it. Luton Reading, I mentioned it, bit of a 90s game. Some concerns for Luton, and I think you can see now why Nathan Jones was so upset at Gabe Osho for the red card against Watford, because with Sonny Bradley going down, with Tom Lockyer coming off, we ended up, the end of the last game on Tuesday night, Cameron Jerome was playing centre-half and Harry Cornick was playing right wing-back, who are two centre-forwards.
They never said Cameron. I'll be honest. No one ever said that Cameron Jerome was playing centre half. They always said it was the three fullbacks were playing as the
So it was, but then Doughty got cramp in about the 82nd minute and went and stood up front, and Cameron Jerome basically stayed centre half the rest of the game, and marked Andy Carroll. So that's where we ended up. But it was a strange game. I mentioned it. It was very direct. Blackpool, bit different. Lots of goals in them in recent games, which I didn't expect, but problems at the other end. I mean, the amount of goals they're in is a bit obscene. Obviously, a disappointing defeat to West Brom, but they're doing all right. And generally, these sides are pretty well matched when they come up against each other. Ignoring the home game last year for Blackpool, I'm going to go Championship's favourite scoreline of 1-1 because I think there's a draw written all over this.
Yeah.
But you want to bring the bias out.
Tough one. This tough one is because Luton's defence there is no defence at the moment for Luton. So it's your three fullbacks. If Lockyer can get back into it for Saturday, that'd be ideal. It wasn't a concussion. Obviously, luckily, Sonny Bradley's wasn't a ligament damage or a break.
God knows how.
Because I don't know how, because that looked utterly disgusting. Obviously, we wish him a speedy recovery. Yeah, it wasn't great for Luton. I think that injury lost all that momentum. Really, Luton just never really got going. Blackpool, on the other hand, lost 1-0. It was always going to be hard. Cobran obviously had to bring different ideas in. Obviously, let's perk West Brom up. So it's always going to be tough. I'm going to go, though. Blackpool's recent home form is not too bad. So I think they're going to nick it by 2-1. Right, Middlesbrough versus Bristol City. Middlesbrough won 3-1 at Hull, and Bristol City lost 1-0 to Sheffield United.
Yeah, and while a 1-0 defeat at home to Sheffield United isn't disaster, the lack of discipline late on again, not a goal conceded this time, but a very ugly challenge from George Tanner. It was pretty awful, to be honest. Middlesbrough, they needed that. I mean, I don't know how much you can read into it because everyone wins at Hull. Same as their last victory, everyone wins at Wigan at the minute. So I don't really know how much you can put on that win. This is a hard one to predict for me. This is one of those that could go either way because Bristol City have still got that threat going forward, albeit they're not scoring many at the moment. And Borough looked better against poor opposition. I'm going to go Borough, 2-1.
Yeah, I would have gone to Borough. Yeah, Borough for me.
Of course you would have gone Borough.
Of course I would have gone Borough. Of course it is. It's Bristol City. No, all seriousness. I'm going to go 2-2, actually. I'm going to go 2-2. Because, as you said, Middlesbrough, obviously, new manager bounce. It's worked. Bristol City, defensively, not great, but they've got a good attacking line. Middlesbrough, defensively, not great. It's got goals written all over it. It's either going to be 0-0 or 2-2. So I'm going to go 2-2. Right, Millwall v Hull. Millwall drew 0-0 with Birmingham, and Hull lost 3-1 to Borough.
Yeah, this game's tricky for me because Millwall, obviously third best home record in the league, won 7 out of 9 at the Den, and Hull have been much better away from home than they have at home. Their last two away games were their first 2 away wins of the season, but they scored goals galore, looked a real threat going forward. I have to back Millwall at home because they're so good at the Den, but I wouldn't be shocked if Hull nick something. I'm going to go, because they're so bad at the back, 3-1. I'm going for lots of goals this weekend. 3-1 Millwall.
I'm going to go 2-0 Millwall. Millwall, yeah, obviously a good point away from home. They probably would have said they should have nicked the 3, but Millwall to win by 2-0. Right, QPR v West Brom. This could be an interesting game. QPR, they drew 0-0 with Norwich, and West Brom beat Blackpool by 0-0.
Yeah, much better from West Brom. Restricted Blackpool to no shots on target. It was the first signs from this West Brom team this year of a Corberan performance, which obviously it's not going to be quite the high energy. We've talked about that in the manager special, the team and the capability they have to do that. But generally speaking, they were more disciplined. They still had a threat on the break, and they got the win, which is the most important thing, no matter how late it came. QPR Norwich was a very tense, tight game between two of the better sides in the league. Only 1 point this week, though, and I think they'll be disappointed with that. So getting back to the home ground, got to try and pick up the win. West Brom on the road this season, only 1 win so far. That was at Reading a few weeks back. I'm going to go QPR to nick it because I just think they've got too much energy for this West Brom team. And again, I'll go 2-1.
No, I'm going to go 1-1 in this game. This could be an entertaining one. Both teams obviously will try and definitely stifle it out. If West Brom could do what they did against Blackpool in the other day, they could nick it. But QPR at home are pretty strong, so it could be goals galore. But I think this could be a tight one. I'm going to go West Brom to stifle them out, but a 1-1 draw. Rotherham versus Norwich at the New York Stadium. Rotherham lost 3-2 to Burnley, and Norwich drew 0-0 with QPR.
Yeah, I mean, I've said what needed to be said on Norwich QPR. It was a tense game between two evenly matched sides. Rotherham, gotta be a hammer blow. 4 without a win now. I mean, it looked like they were going to win before the red card, let alone a draw, but they are gritty on the road. At home, we saw the last game against Hull. I mean, they'll probably be glad to be home after 3 away games, but the whole game, that was a horror show. They were brilliant the game before against Huddersfield, so very hard to predict. Norwich, equally hard to predict at the minute. They've been inconsistent in recent weeks, but better signs the last 2 games against Stoke and QPR. But they've got to do it away from home now. I think it's the right game for it. I don't think this will be a great game. I know Rotherham's have been high scoring in recent weeks, but I'm just going to go for a classic 2-0 Norwich away from home.
I'm going to go 2-1 to the away side. Yeah, Rotherham, to be honest, let's be honest, Rotherham played well. They were in the game.
It was great for 89 minutes, wasn't it?
Yeah, they were excellent. They were excellent. I know they lost at the end, and they were always going to do that. But obviously, the red card made it a lot harder with Bramwell getting sent off. But they played well. To go to Burnley, go 2-1 up. No teams go to Burnley and go 2-1 up at the moment. So you have to give them a lot of credit. Obviously, yeah, the extra man did help Burnley go over the line in the 10 out of minutes. But at this point, they couldn't hold on. But it's still good performance. Norwich. Yeah, obviously they would have wanted to kick on from that win at the weekend, but they didn't. It's a stubborn QPR side, hit the post right at the death. And that was it. Yeah, I think Norwich might have just a bit too much if they get it right on the night. 2-1 to the away side. Right, Stoke versus Birmingham. Stoke beat Wigan by a 0-0, and Birmingham drew 0-0 with Millwall.
Yeah, obviously Stoke away at Wigan, it is one of the easiest places to go. I mean, on paper, it is the easiest place to go in the Championship. And they ended their 3-game losing streak. So an important one for them. Much better performance than the Norwich game. Birmingham, I'm going to keep giving John Eustace credit for it. He's made them so much better defensively. And I know they didn't offer a huge amount going forward in that game. I think they only had 1 shot on target. But they are looking a lot better at the back. And if you take into account the QPR win on Friday, 4 points out of those 2 games is a phenomenal effort. So really good week for them. I just think they'll be disappointed if they end it on a defeat. Stoke, you never know what to predict. They've been unpredictable since they've come down. I'm going to have to sit on the fence, I'm afraid. And I'm going to go for my classic 0-0 draw that never comes off because neither side have got a huge amount going forward. Birmingham drew a blank in the week and Stoke have scored 2 and 4.
1-0 Birmingham for me. Yeah, obviously.
The comments will go mad.
What? No, I always go for Birmingham. I've been impressed with Birmingham lately. Obviously, they've got that defensive streak back in. Obviously, they beat QPR last Friday. So 4 points out of 6 against 2 tough sides in QPR and Millwall. They'll have to more than that take that. So, and then they've got to go to Stoke. Obviously, yeah, Stoke beat Wigan the other day and Timon scored as well. I think they could do a job over there. Stoke at home, not that great. So I think Birmingham could nick it by a 0-0. I really do. Sunderland versus Cardiff. Sunderland beat Huddersfield by 2-0, and Cardiff lost 2-1 to Watford.
Yeah, I mean, the Cardiff-Watford game, you nailed it. Obviously, it's what we expected. Cardiff they weren't the better side. They had a lot of the ball, which I didn't expect them to, but they've not been great in recent weeks. 1 win in 5, another side that I'm baffled hasn't appointed a new manager yet, but we've covered that plenty of times. Sunderland, excellent on the break at Huddersfield, excellent on the break at Luton, and again, 4 points for a promoted side. It's a great week for them. Up into the top half. I know 5 points off the playoffs and relegation. It's a nutty championship. But after that disappointment against Burnley, they've bounced back really well. And we're starting to see some good Tony Mowbray counter-attacking football, which, to be fair, Sunderland fans will be happy to see. So with the strikers to come back, they've just got to keep plugging away. They have struggled a bit more at home, and they're going to come up against a side that are so deep defensively. I can see this being a disappointing day. And I know I've just done it already, but I'm going to go 0-0 again because if Sunderland don't break Cardiff down early, I can just see this one petering out.
No, I'm going for the Black Cats to win by 2-0. Well, thanks, Ahmad. You just cost me 2 more points if I scored a 90+ minute. But he's a good player, though. No, so it's been a very good week for Sunderland. Yeah, 4 points out in the last 2 games. I'm happy to take that. Looking solid, and no, any talk of them going down is utter nonsense, really. Cardiff, yeah, disappointing. They took the lead early on against Watford. I thought, okay, this could be another one of those good Cardiff performances here at home, 1-0 wins, but Watford's quality took over in the end. But I think Sunderland at home, I think they could do it again. So 2-0 to them. Swansea v Wigan. Swansea lost 1-0 to Preston, and Wigan lost 1-0 to Stoke.
Yeah, it's a bit of a concern now for Wigan, isn't it? 5 games without, 5 defeats in a row, sorry. No goals in the last 2, only 1 shot on target. They haven't got that goal threat and they have dropped into the bottom 3 now. It is a big concern for them scoring goals, and it's the thing we said at the start of the season might be their only undoing. Starting to look reminiscent of Hull last year before the takeover, to be honest. Swansea away at Preston, similar issue really. When they're defending against a team who play when they're attacking against a team who defend very deep, they struggle to break them down. But at home to Wigan, who have been better on the road but are just in woeful form, you have to back Swansea. They've generally been pretty good at home this season. I think Wigan will nick one on the counter because I never back a Swansea clean sheet, but 2-1 Swansea.
I'm going to go 1-0 to Swansea. Yeah, no, to be fair, yeah, I'm not a possession-based man, I'll be honest. If you're going to have a possession, you've got to have the chances. And when you don't have the chances, you're not going to score goals. And that's what, at times, Swansea can be really good and really bad at the same time. When they get it right, it looks fantastic. When they get it wrong, they're absolutely hopeless for me. Wigan, yeah, it's not good. It's not good at the moment. One of the worst formed teams in the league. I don't know how to turn it around at the moment, Richardson. He doesn't know how to do it. Don't think he's got enough quality in his side to actually turn this around. And it wouldn't surprise me if they stay in that bottom 3 for most of the campaign.
Need a striker in January.
Yeah, I do. I believe that. But I'm going to Swansea nick it by 1-0. And the final game, it is Watford versus Coventry. Watford beat Cardiff by 2-1, and Coventry beat Blackburn by 1-0.
Yeah, good win for Coventry. They needed that. Obviously lifts them out the bottom 3 as they're catching up the games now. Watford's in really good form. 4 wins in 5. I know they had that disappointment at Millwall, but they backed up the Luton win with 2 very good away wins. Solid defensive displays too. They should be favourites for this, and they ultimately probably will win it. But I've got one of my little hunches, and they sometimes work out. So I'm going to go for this game to be absolutely blockbuster, despite none of the stats suggesting it. It's my crazy one of the week. I'm going Watford 2, Coventry 2. I've just got a feeling about it. Gilquera's on the break. Watford looking good going forward. I think it'll be a really entertaining game to watch.
I'm going to go Coventry to nick it by 2-1. I just got this feeling it's going to be similar to the...
I thought I was bad.
No, I just got a funny thing. You know the Watford game where they lost to Swansea? 2-1? Yeah. I got a funny... It's going to be similar to that. I got a funny thing. To be fair, the Watford, the Luton game was a perfect game for them to come back to after 2 bad results for that. Needed to get Derby win out of the way. And then they've had 2 games where they've had to grind out results, which shows a different side to Watford, considering the 2 other wins were obviously 4-0 and 4-0 at Stoke. So to grind out they're 2 good victories, really, when you look at that. But Coventry, now they're starting to get a bit more good victory against Blackburn. They kept a clean sheet as well. I think they can cause some havoc on the break. As you said, if they can do what they did the way we saw against Luton with good careers and Hamer and that stuff, they can cause problems to this Watford side, because that defence is still not the greatest Watford defence. I know they kept a couple of clean sheets here and there lately, but they can get found out. Mill found them out quite early on, so I think Coventry can do that as well. So I think they can nick it by 2-1. Right, let's have a quick recap what we have predicted for this weekend's action, and quite tight affairs, really. I know Cody said he was going for goals galore, but not as much as he thinks. He picked 2 0-0s. For myself, really, a couple of 1-0s and 2-1s, but Blackburn's the only team that's going to score more than 2 for me. And those are predictions for this weekend's action in the Championship. Do you agree with us or disagree with us? Let us know in the comments and give us your predictions for this weekend's action. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the Honest Football Podcast, and you can follow us on Twitter at HonestFootball3. And we'll see you next time.